Well, I don't like it when you attack my culinary favorites.
What?
Favorites.
You only like boiled hot
culinary...
dogs?
Yeah.
On white
boiled
buns?
hot dogs on white buns, yes.
You gotta microwave it till it's wrinkled.
No.
You put it on a white bun.
I'll boil it.
What flavor hot dogs do you get? You get the turkey franks?
No, I get the ballpark beef franks, yeah. They plump when you cook them. I like that. That's how you know it's done.
Hello and welcome to Bardic Aggravation. I'm Kent, that's Rick, that's Brandon. Today's a big one.
Huge.
Hope you're relaxed and strapped in. Because we're talking about the Warlock.
The Warlock!
We're doing the D&D versus DC20. We do levels 1 and 2. We don't get into level 3 yet. That is coming, and once we get through all the classes, we still have a few more to do. Bard and Cleric and Brandon's dad. Level 1 should be one of the funnest levels to play. One of the most fun, not funnest. Stop infecting my brain with your stupidity.
That's not me, it's him. It's him.
It's because you're sitting in my seat.
He said,
Oh, yeah.
he said jokenomics.
I'm going to start saying library and picture. Even in D&D, the Warlock is the chunkiest class. So normally we don't give you much at level 1 with these class comparisons, but the D&D one is probably the 2014 one, not the 2024. We're going to get into that because we're going to tell you what the changes are from 2024 so you can compare the DC21 to both of those. All right, D&D 2014. Let's start with that, then we'll give you the updates. Right at first level, they get their subclass. They choose their otherworldly patron. This is the guy or gal that's giving them all their powers. So you choose that. That just dictates what your spell list is. They all get a different little spell list, plus the full Warlock spell list, but which isn't that big. But they're usually pretty good spells.
Yeah, of course.
With all your patrons. We're not going to go over every subclass of patron in D&D, so
Ain't nobody got time for that.
we're going to give you some highlights. Just suffice to say, they all get pretty good spells, some better than others, but it's a nice little boon. Certain ones, obviously, if you're familiar, if you're not, you can have an archfey patron that gives you your powers, and so they give you the ability, frighten or charm. This is, again, we're talking about first and second level, so you get more stuff as you level up much later, not every level. The Fiend, which is your classic deal with the devil, you get just some crap. It's nothing, really. You get I don't even know what you get. It's stupid. You get the Celestial, so an angel or a something, or a Kieran or a unicorn can be your patron if you're 5 years old, and then you get some healing stuff, and you get Guiding Bolt, which is a great spell at first level. For the Cthulhu fans, obviously, you got to mention the Great Old One because that's very important.
Oh,
Yeah, of course.
And they're
Evil.
they give you telepathy, so you have some telepathy, and they have some good spells. Well, probably one of the best spell lists. And then the Fathomless is your deep sea kind of kraken one, or whatever it is that lives under the sea. Charlie the Tuna, your mermaid auntie.
Ursula.
Aquaman.
Aquaman could be your patron. Why not?
Yeah.
You got a tentacle that you can summon. You summon a tentacle. No matter, you could be in the desert, doesn't matter. You summon a tentacle. It's 10 feet long, and you gotta cast an attack spell with it. You can't just smack people with it.
If you're into
gotta
that
cast a
tentacle things, this is you.
Yeah, and
You're into that
if you're into,
anime with
if
the
you don't want
tentacles?
to, if you're out of spells to cast, just make some porn with it. And the Hexblade is the main one. Hexblade is your patron is usually like a weapon, or the Raven Queen, or like a sentient weapon. But either way, you're getting the ability to fight, and you can use your charisma to fight as opposed to strength or dexterity because you need a high charisma as a warlock. Who cares, Brandon? So now, what the changes are in 2024?
It's gotta be better.
Well, it's weird. So you don't get your subclass because nobody does in D&D 2024. So you don't have a patron. You can just forget about that till you're grown up.
So no spells then, obviously.
No, you still get your spells.
From what?
You tell us in the comments.
Potato.
You don't have a patron.
I got a potato in my pocket.
You now get to pick one invocation at first level. The invocations are different here. The packed boons, if you're familiar with it, at second level. is when you
second
pick
or
your
two?
Pact of the Blade, Pact of the Chain, or Pact of the Tome.
Right.
Okay.
Now those are all invocations. They're not, so you can actually pick all three when you can keep picking one. Then you get more invocations as you level up than you used to get, apparently. So yeah, you're getting an invocation at first level, and then whatever spells you can cast, which I don't know. So apparently there's a lot more playroom with invocations and stuff, but this is all you're getting at first level in 2024. I don't know if it's worth switching to 2024.
Without the patron, there's nothing to it. Like I can't understand where these powers are coming from. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, you're
Like,
a
that's like-
warlock. Before you had a patron.
But maybe that's
What? How does that work?
Maybe that's just built-in role play. You just don't know.
To who do you
Well,
role play?
All right, so make it. Yeah, we can do that. You can do anything with role playing. So tell us
So-
how you would justify that
So you
in your
one day,
random brain.
one day you wake up and
You're a warlock.
you start feeling these tingly senses. You can do these things. You don't know where they come from, or maybe that's what sets you out on your adventure. You're trying to figure out where you got these powers from, and there you go. From 1 to 3, you just don't know.
And then at third level is when you find out.
Yeah, it's like a
They finally reveal themselves
It's
to
a
you.
Surprise?
it's a surprise, and it's a life-changing moment in your time adventuring.
Is it like the movie Contact, where you sit there for 3 hours and find out it was their fucking father the whole time?
So that's D&D 2014-2024 in a nutshell. I think D&D 2014 feels like you're starting to feel like a warlock. They really reel you back in 2024. I don't feel like you're really...
You wouldn't feel like a warlock in any way, shape, or form.
No?
In
2024?
2024,
Yeah. No.
you're not even. You're a little spellcaster.
I have some powers.
At level 1, you're just basically a commoner who can.
Where do they
Cast
come
a
from?
spell
Where do these
once in
powers
a
come
while.
from? I don't know.
Where'd you come from? Where'd you go? Where'd you come from?
DC20 Warlock level 1. Okay, it's a lot.
Power. Here we
Bear
go.
with us. One major difference is they are a full caster.
Full
They have the
caster.
same amount of spells and cantrips and mana points as the wizard and the druid and the cleric and all the rest.
They win.
So they are a full caster. Just a quick refresher on the spell casting system in case you haven't watched the wizard video or the druid video. They don't use spell slots. They use mana points, spell points. Think of it like that. And you get so many at level 1, and I think you get 6? Yeah.
Yeah.
At level 1 to spend on your spells, your cantrips. You can spend another mana point or an action point to make your spell bigger and wonderfulier.
What is with you in the English language today?
Quiet your face.
He's in my seat.
The way you get your magic, you choose 4 spell schools as a warlock that you can take magic spells from. This isn't all complete yet. The spells are coming in beta 10. Right now we're at the beta 8. So we're going to do a whole video about the spells and all that stuff when it comes out, when we get to it very soon. So you can pick any 4 spell schools you want. There's, 8, 9, 10 spell schools. You got your divination, your abjuration, your masturbation, your
That's one of them.
Constipation.
constipation, your, you know them all. You know them.
nations.
You love them, all that stuff. Then you get something called a sacrificial bond. Now, what this is kind of illustrating is the warlock in DC20 is like a blood mage magic user. They use their blood for stuff. Because you made a pact. You probably did one of those, you cut your palm and shook hands with the tentacle god or whoever it is your patron is. And now you're blood brothers, blood sisters, whatever it is you are. Yeah. So there's a blood bond. There's a sacrificial bond. What this allows you to do is, everybody else has, for resources, stamina points, mana points, brownie points.
Action points.
Right.
Action
points.
points. Well, yeah, action points. Everybody has action points.
Everybody has all them points.
Stamina
But
points.
you, as a warlock, you can use your hit points, your health points, he calls them, as a resource. So that's kind of cool. So you're kind of
Kinda cool.
bleeding for your art. What this means are the 3 different things you can do with this, and you can spend up to 3 of your health points to do this. So the first one is called sacrificial damage, where you spend 1 hit point to do an extra point of damage. And obviously, because the spend limit's 3, if you want to spend 3 of your hit points, health points, you can do extra 3 damage. That's a pretty hefty blow in DC20.
And it's going to hurt you a lot.
But it's
though.
gonna hurt.
It is.
Yeah,
That's why it's called a sacrifice.
It's definitely a
You
sacrifice.
don't get this shit for free. The other thing is the opposite, sacrificial healing. So if you cast some kind of healing spell, I don't know why you would do that as a warlock, but if that's your fantasy, okay. You can bleed yourself out to 1 hit point to trade for 1 health point. So clearly you're not going to heal yourself with this, because that would just be the dribble wheel of madness. So you're healing somebody else, obviously, and you're going to sacrifice 1 of my hit points to give you a hit point, and now you owe me.
A hit point.
So that might be worth it to get some favors and make people feel, you know. Remember when I gave you a hit point? You can do all that shit. It's fun. Hasty bargain.
Ooh.
So this is kind of like, as it implies, you know, I don't have time. I forgot to make a plan. I just need to do something real quick. So you can cut yourself or give up a hit point, however you want to. And this will give you advantage on a spell check or an attack check. So when you're rolling that D20 to see if you hit with your spell or hit with your blade or whatever, you can get advantage on that by just bleeding out a hit point.
Or you call upon your god.
Health point.
Or your deity to help you. You give them part of your soul even. Whatever you want it to do. However.
They get 1 health point of your soul.
1.
Not more. How would you give up a hit point? So you would give part of your
Pound of
soul. What
flesh.
would you do?
I'd
Life.
probably, I mean, yeah, same thing.
Oh, you just get a copy break?
I'd probably bash my head into something and be like, ah!
If you're familiar with the 2014 Warlock, which I assume most of you are, then you get your pack boons at level 3. You get them here at level 1. And instead of 3 of them, you got 4 to choose from.
4?
4 of these to choose from. Yep.
It's a bonus.
So, first one you can choose, or one of the ones you can choose, is the pact of the. It's a weapon, pact weapon. You have a pact weapon, something you touch, and then now he's made a pact with you, and you're gonna go through life together, best buddies, because my imaginary friend lives inside my weapon.
I can hear the song too, the dancing around with your weapon. Me and my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not just a blade this time. It's
Any weapon.
Any
It could be a
weapon.
bow. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It could be a slingshot.
It's your best buddy. If you're using an arrow, the arrows just appear. You don't have to have any ammo anymore. You're using a crossbow, you don't have to have any ammo anymore.
That is pretty cool.
That's deep.
Pretty
That's deep. No buying arrows.
It's magic ammunition.
Because everybody just...
Your patron is just standing there with a bunch of arrows and just dropping them down to you. It's great. Well, this is what's cool. You're a full spellcaster, but if you take this weapon pack, you get 5 maneuvers. Whoa!
What?
5 maneuvers. All the attack maneuvers and 2 more of your choice.
Whoa,
So now you
whoa,
can
whoa.
fight. This is kind of your hexblade, right?
Okay.
So if you want to fight with the fighter and everybody else, and you want to be able to do all your maneuvers, if you haven't heard us talk about, these are you're basically thinking about like a battle master from D&D, and all the martial classes get maneuvers. And now that you got the pact of the weapon, you're kind of a martial, so you get to learn 5 maneuvers. At first level, these are 5 different choices, things you can do on your turn.
Those maneuvers you get have to be save maneuvers. So you get 3 action maneuvers.
No, 3 now
Attack
you're fucking me
maneuvers.
up. Attack maneuvers. You get
3
everybody
attack
always
maneuvers.
gets the 3 attack maneuvers.
3 attack maneuvers and 2 of your extra maneuvers must be save maneuvers.
And what are save maneuvers?
They're maneuvers that you make on saves.
No.
They're saving maneuvers.
The person has to make a saving throw against your attack, and if they fail, they get a condition like bloodied, exposed, impaired, hindered. Those conditions. Again, if you really want to learn about these conditions, there'll be a link to Claudio's video down below.
Yeah,
He
click on
explains
that.
it all very, very well. So
It's a
we
lovely
don't have
chart.
time
It's
for
a
all
lovely
that.
chart. It's like
Then you also get the pocket dimension thing. You're familiar with that. So, for some reason, no weapons allowed. You can just be like, boop. So you don't have to hand yours over to the city guard or the jailer or anything. Because
you're waiting the whole
I don't
game
have a
to do
weapon.
that. The whole game. Somebody
weapon?
arrest me, please.
Yeah.
I got the weapon.
What weapon?
And then it just comes back when you want it to, and a nice cinematic moment, dramatic impact there.
Bam.
Oh, where'd you get that weapon? I don't know. What weapon?
I don't know.
Right there, that weapon.
Get away from me. So another one you could take. This one is not in D&D. This is the new one it's packed armor. So instead of a weapon, you can make packed armor. So you can take your little leather, whatever, or your chain shirt, or your loincloth, and make it your packed armor. You're best friends with this armor now, and you don't get the combat maneuvers. You get defense maneuvers now.
Oh.
These are the same thing,
They're combat
maneuvers, but they're
but yeah.
they're defense maneuvers. You can parry, you can dodge, you can sidestep, you can do some really cool things with this, and all of them. You know all of them. I forget how many there are, but 5, 6, 4,
6.
at least 5.
4.
So you have access to them all as a full spellcaster now. Because any spellcaster in DC20 can wear light armor, including wizards. So everybody has access to at least light armor, and as a warlock, so do you. So you can do this, and this also you can put in a pocket dimension.
What?
So
You're just slipping your armor into dimension?
you could just don't put any underwear on or anything under your armor, and then when it's sexy time and if you got to get it done, just purchase a pocket dimension, and they're impressed now. And if you're playing a fiend board, you can clap out the candles, and just be naked, just like that. It's great. It's great. How about a quickie? How about this for a quickie?
I'm ready,
You're
baby.
ready. And with both of these, the weapon and the armor, you can switch these out during any rest. You can do it during a 10-minute quick rest. You can just be like, I want this one to be now. You're fickle.
Oh, so if you find something better, you could just use it instantly.
Yeah, so if your DM gives you a better weapon or better armor, and you're like, well, I already made a pact with this, it doesn't matter. Put it on the new one. Fire your agent and get a better one now that you don't need them. So with the pact armor, besides the maneuvers, one of the coolest things they get, because it's called a mystical armor, I think. Mystic armor, mystical. So it's got that little magic-y thing. And it gives you +1 to your mystical defense and your mystical damage reduction, which nobody has at level 1 except you, if you take this. So that means if you get hit with any kind of damage that's not physical, you can reduce that damage by 1 just by having this armor on. And your mystical defense, like it's like your armor class, but for the mind, you get it, that goes up by 1, so it's better just by wearing this armor.
It's like a tinfoil hat. The next pack boom we'll talk about is the pack cantrip. It's your most extra special, bestest friend cantrip. The cool things that this cantrip will do that not every cantrip will, because it is your pact cantrip. It does extra damage to bloodied creatures. And what is bloodied?
Half damage.
Pact damage.
Half damage. If you're at half damage, you're bloodied.
Because it's not half damage.
It's when you're at half damage.
It's when you're at half of your health points, not when you're at half damage.
Got you there, genius.
Yeah. So it'll do +1 damage to bloody creatures. So that's pretty cool. As well as if your
Spit it out.
spell cantrip has a touch. Is it any touch? Is it any spell?
Just bad touch.
So if your cantrip has a touch range,
Yes.
right, you can now do it from 3 spaces away. It makes it a little like ranged kind of thing. So not only can you get things and stuff.
I hate doing these videos.
Shut the fuck up, Ken.
So painful.
If it's a ranged spell, it does +5 more spaces. So if it does 10, if the range on the normal spell is 10 spaces, it'll go 15. And then once per round, you can impart advantage on the spell check to this cantrip. So that's pretty cool.
That is really good.
That's
that's
better than pretty cool.
That's high up there.
Let me just say that again. Once per round, not per combat, not per short rest, quick rest, long rest. Once per round. That is awesome.
So on every turn,
Every time you're playing.
because cantrips don't cost you mana points mostly.
Correct.
So you can just like in D&D, it doesn't take a spell slot. These are just free spells you get to cast.
Much like your packed weapon and your packed armor, you can also switch this out, but not on a quick rest. It's a long rest. So once basically a day, you can choose to switch this out
Yeah,
To a cantrip that you already know, right?
to a different cantrip. Yes,
that you already know.
that you already know.
I thought you were going to say you can take this cantrip and throw it to a pocket dimension.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
It's
That's
magic,
why I thought you were
so
going to say it. That's...
Why would you think I would say that? I'm not that stupid, dude.
I didn't think you were stupid. I thought you were just going
No,
down
I'm pretty sure that you were inferring that I was stupid.
Never. I would never think you're stupid. You're a genius in your
Right.
own way.
I am.
The idiot savant.
No, I'm
Without the savant part.
The next pact boom we'll talk about
Is?
the pact familiar. So this is like your find familiar aspect, right? So this is your
it
pact
is.
of the in terms of D&D, it's pact of the chained, right? It's where you get your familiar. You gain access to the find familiar spell, and it works differently in DC20. In DC20, you build your familiar. So in DC20, you gain access to like traits, right? You get a pool of points you can do, and then you buy them. It's like a menu list, right? If you've seen our Druid video where we talk about our wild form, or if you've seen our ancestry video where we build our custom ancestries, it works the same kind of way, where you get a menu and a certain amount of points and you spend it and you can customize it how you want it to look. It's got to be a tiny creature though, so it's got to be a small, like gerbil. I prefer gerbils. Could be a mouse or a
You
rat.
have a gerbil thing. What's your
Or a
gerbil
chipmunk?
thing? Do you own a gerbil?
No, could be a chipmunk.
Yeah.
Is that what you can make? You think you can make a little man? Mm-hmm. Could you make a little man?
You can make a
Tiny
little
devil.
imp.
As long as they're small. They have to be small.
Tiny.
Tiny.
Tiny. They're even smaller than
Tiny. It's a tiny imp.
Tiny. So this little tiny imp on his shoulder, guess what it has with Brandon?
Kill Rick, kill Rick.
No, wouldn't say that.
Kill him, kill him.
It has a bond with Brandon.
Oh.
They share hit points. These two guys share hit points. Oh, but no, see? That's wrong. In the game, you cannot attack the familiar. You can only attack the person. If he's within the same space, you can only attack the person.
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
So what's cool is Find Familiar, the actual Find Familiar spell in DC20, you get 2 traits, right? So with this, you come out with 3 traits plus an extra 2. That doesn't make any sense, does it?
You kind of reversed the logic, but yeah, you get 5 traits
5.
total,
5 traits
as
total.
opposed to the other people that only have 2. So your familiar is bigger and
Brilliant.
better.
Oh, you get
Brilliant.
3 more trait points.
3 more plus 3.
Yeah, plus 3 trait points to build your familiar however you want it. So with your familiar, there's a couple of things that you get special. You get a familiar bond because your special little friend, much like your pack cantrip, super special to you.
K-Pack cantrip.
Your it's very close to you. It
Give me a little Sprite.
It's called a familiar bond, right?
You said that.
What this means is that it shares HP. It shares your health points.
That's nice. Sharing is caring.
So if your familiar gets attacked, it takes away from your health points,
And vice versa.
and vice versa. So if you die, it dies. If it dies, you die. Bingo. That works completely different than D&D.
Bonded. You're bonded.
You're bonded. That's the idea.
Sacredly
Bound. You're bound.
bonded.
You're bound to your bonded.
Bounded.
Bonded is when you get out of jail, right? They bond you, so you're bonded.
You would know.
But the cool thing about it is if they occupy your space, so if your familiar is on your shoulder or in your pocket or in a backpack or something like that,
In your mouth.
sure,
Up your butt.
If it shares your space, it can't be attacked. It can't be targeted as an attack. Also, if your spells, if it's a touch spell, you can deliver it through your pack familiar, right, within 10 spaces. So you can send your pack familiar out 10 spaces, and it can touch and do the spell through it. And then, much like your packed weapon and your packed armor, you can do the pocket dimension with it. So you can send it away.
Zoop.
Zoop, zoop. And then also, so you can warg in it. It's called shared sense. So you can basically warg. You go into a trance, and then you can see and hear through your familiar within 20 spaces. It's like 100. That's 100. No, 5 times 20. It's 100 feet. Yeah.
100 feet. You were right
pretty-
there.
Yeah. Yeah. I can do math.
You could spy on Mars.
Yeah. So there's that. So there. I mean, that's pretty cool. So yeah.
You're going to give it things like, it's a long list. We're not going to go over it all. That could be a whole separate video. But you
We need
can
to
give
make
it
that
some
whole video.
defense. It can fly. You can give it a fly speed. You can make it attack. So it now can do a little attacky thing. You can give it speech, so it can now talk to the party and everybody. Because you're going to have a telepathic bond with your familiar anyway, but if you want it to be able to talk to anybody, you can get it, it can talk now. For your regular familiar, your telepathy is 20 spaces. You can make it so it's 100. So it can fly off 100 spaces away, which is what, 50,000 miles? What is that?
Something like that.
That's cool. But the main thing is what you're going to get more than anybody else that has a spell is you get 5 traits as opposed to 3. No, 2. You get 2 as a
Two
regular
traits,
caster,
Two,
right?
now you're getting.
So you're getting 5 instead of
traits.
2. So your familiar is it's just better. You can literally go to everybody else in the party and go, well, my familiar can beat up your familiar.
So it's kind of all we'll get into that at another time. There's all kinds of different things you can do, and we'll maybe build some and let you see them.
Yeah, we might. Probably not. So yeah, so that's your those are the 4 you can pick from at first level. There's the flavor feature. We always know about the flavor feature, and this one is called Beseech Patron. So it's basically you go into while you're sleeping or while you're meditating, you can try to talk to your patron because you got important things to. Let's have a meeting. We haven't talked in a while, and I don't know what's going on. So the patron will talk to you and do stuff. There's no mechanics for this. This is totally up to your DM, so they can get into it, or if they have information they want to impart to you. Rick would do this as DM while we had a Warlock, Archfey, and he needed to get some information to the party. So she was the Green Lady, and she would come and talk to one of the players, and then they could either tell us or not. So you can use it for that kind of stuff. You know, get rid of some of your exposition that you're like, how am I going to do this? Yeah, have the patron talk to the Warlock and during this Beseech Patron thing. But usually it's the Warlock that'll initiate this
Yeah.
But not always. It can be. This is again. It's a flavor. What flavor would this be, Brendan?
Rocky Road.
Rocky Road.
Ooh.
So
Because
there
it's
you
very
go.
rocky.
And chocolatey.
And that's level 1. Now that we're done with level 1, level 2. All right, let's go over the changes in D&D because you got the 2014 and the 2024, as we've said. So in 2014,
Yes.
you were given invocations. 2. You get to choose 2 invocations. Eldritch invocations, to be specific.
Ooh.
We're not going to have Rick say that word because he can't pronounce it.
Eldritch.
It's a Michigan thing. Hey, look at you. Are you pretending? You're just playing dumb because you think it's sexy?
I let my mind go.
That's a good idea.
go.
Just to reiterate, in case you guys are new to D&D, you get these Eldritch Invocations, and these kind of balance out the fact that you don't have crap for spell slots. So these are just powers that you get, magical powers, and you can just use them. They're not using a spell slot. You're not casting them as a spell.
Right.
You can use them. And there's a big, long list, actually, which I'll give D&D credit for that. Certain ones you can take at higher levels, so you can't get access to all of them at level 2, but you get 2 of them, and they're great. Even like there's Devil's Sight, where you can see through magical darkness, any darkness, but magical darkness, which is a very rare thing. A lot of these things will amp up your Eldritch Blast because that's your main bread and butter cantrip, so you can make it an agonizing blast where it'll do more damage. You can push people back.
Push people back. Yeah, you
push
can
people
push them.
back.
Yeah.
So you can just really just beef up your Eldritch Blast if you want
Range,
to.
up the range. You can shoot
Yeah.
farther away. Yeah.
Make it
There's a lot
so.
of things you can do for that.
You can apparently now do the same thing with other spells that do damage, like Thunder Wave and some other ones. You can use your Charisma. You can add your Charisma
Oh, all right.
modifier to the damage if you want. So you can just, if you don't want to be stuck with Eldritch Blast your whole career, you can be like, I want to Thunder Wave. I want to do this other cantrip and add your Charisma damage to that instead and make it go farther and knock people away and all that stuff. So you got a choice.
All right, so
Different things, so you're not just an Eldritch Blaster if you don't want to be. There's like Eldritch Sight where you can just detect magic at will, whenever you want to. There's not like a certain amount of uses until every long. Whenever you want to, you can just detect magic. There's the Hat of Many Faces or whatever, and you can disguise self at will. So a bunch of things. I mean, it's a long, long list. So those are cool.
overall, though, 2014 is good. I can't complain about that Warlock because
Yeah, you've already got all your packed spells and
at level 2 you feel like a Warlock though, and
Level
a lot of those.
1.
Yeah, level 1 you're already
Feel
feeling,
like a
but at
Warlock.
level 2, once you get those invocations, you are really powerful.
Yeah, you're starting to get those things
You're
from
starting
your
to
patrons.
feel it. Yeah, you're feeling it. You're feeling it. Now, 2024, they pulled out that eraser and they just got rid of all that
Okay.
and took all that away.
it's
And
like
you-
when the Pinkertons come and take your magic cards back.
Ooh, that's what they did. They took that
They
Warlock is too
Pinkertoned you.
good.
They
Let me
Pinkertoned the Warlock.
take this Warlock.
Who gave you that? You can't have that.
Gave you a good Warlock.
Give me that back.
Can't have that yet.
These classes aren't good till level 7.
What's the matter with you?
Doing
You greedy?
At level 2, 2024, you get Magical Cunning. So, once per long rest, you do a little 1-minute ritual and you get half your spells back. Isn't that great? That's all you get. That's it.
Half your spell. Round
Half
it
your
up.
spells. Round it up.
You're going to get 1 spell slot
One
back.
spell
at
slot.
First and second level and third, fourth, and fifth level. I don't know when you get the third spell slot
I don't know when you
back.
get the next one, but
When
you
that
get one
happens,
spell
you'll get 2
slot.
spell slots back when you reach that milestone. A year and a half from when
And
you
you
start.
still haven't even met your patron.
What?
No, you haven't met your patron.
You don't even know where
It's a
he is.
mystery.
It's level 2. He's still this mysterious thing just floating around in your head.
Unsolved Mysteries. That was a good show.
So level
No,
2.
wasn't. That's a maddening show. Unsolved
horrible.
Mysteries. I hate watching a whole true crime thing and then we still don't know who did it. Well, then what'd you even tell the story for? That's like telling a joke with no punchline. Fuck off.
And that's D&D 2024 for you.
Right. It's an unsolved mystery. We don't.
That sums it up right there. So DC20 Level 2 Warlock. We'll get into it. Okay. So
Let's tap it.
well, tap that shit. So we've talked about through everything, like the balance, the give and the take of everything, right? And especially with level 1, the sacrificial bond, that kind of stuff, where you're using your hit points,
Health points.
whatever,
Oh,
health points,
so disrespectful.
HP. So life drain.
Nope.
Life tap.
Sure. So this is really cool. This is the idea of using your HP to cast without mana points.
Right.
So cast spells rather. So it's a whole mechanic, right? Where
we don't want to get into it right
Hopefully
now.
this is a mechanic.
It's a whole bunch of crap I don't feel like talking about.
it's a whole mechanic where you make a difficulty check, a DC check, which is stupid. You have it written dumb. This is ATM machine all over again.
Not an ATM machine. That's stupid. It's redundant. A DC check. The check's already in there. What's the matter with you?
So you make a difficulty check against your own difficulty check, right? So at level it doesn't make sense. You make a roll against your difficulty check, right? So
Yes, actually.
and at level 1 it's 14. So that's your difficulty check that you have to
Usually,
beat.
probably, yes. It'll be
So-
14.
So-
difficulty check.
But with here, you're instead of using mana points, you're going to be using your health points. Mm-hmm. So it would be your difficulty check, so which would be 14 plus whatever mana points you're going to use to cast a spell. So it would be the mana point cost.
Oh my fucking god. Make it stop. Listen, it's this simple. If you want to cast a spell and not use mana points, you can roll a little difficulty check. If you succeed, you cast that spell with no mana points, but the mana points you would have spent are now taken out of your hit points, your health points. That's
Why?
all. That's all. it
That's
is.
so much easier than what I'm just trying to say.
Can you include mana point enhancements to that?
No. Yes, you can use mana point enhancements to it. Why ask me questions that you already know the answers to?
I don't know
Are you
the
a fucking
answers.
lawyer
I'm
here?
asking you.
Also, there's something called life drain. So
How
this
would
is the
this
give and take, really. This is what I really like as the warlock, the darkness in me. When you damage a
You just play a cleric. You're so bright and shiny.
no, I'm not. I'm so dark inside. When you damage a bloodied creature, right? So you damage a bloody creature.
I feel it.
Yeah. You can use your reaction to spend a rest point to gain 2 health points. So you can just do that. Normally you use rest points on a quick rest, so that's a 10-minute rest. Here you can do it in combat.
Or a short rest.
Or short rest.
Or a double rest.
Why do you
So you're
have...
basically resting right in the middle of combat.
Spend it, yeah.
Yeah, you're
Drop an action point, boom.
It's like a hit die.
Yeah.
You're spending that now instead of during a rest.
Yeah. It's really cool. So that's using a reaction to spend a rest point to gain to gain health points. Here,
2 health points.
2 health points. Sorry.
So it's like a
Sorry,
2 for
what are you
1.
from Windsor?
Sorry. I'm sorry.
You are sorry.
You'll
Go stop at Timmy's and spend $1.
The other way to regain health points
Tell me.
is you can use an action point as a reaction to regain 2 health points when there's a creature within 5 spaces of you that goes down to 0 hit points
Or dies.
or dies.
Which should be the same thing in my opinion. 0 hit points means death. I don't
Not
know.
necessarily.
Still
'Cause
silly.
that could also mean your party members, right?
Why not?
That could also mean your party
Any-
members.
Yeah.
Any creature.
Yeah,
They
anybody.
go down to
anybody.
0. They go down to 0 health points.
They
So
should be dead.
So I'm standing next to you and I'm like,
They're unconscious.
I'm at 1 hit
should be
point
dead.
left. You could just turn and strike me down?
at 0,
Good, yeah.
I could. Yeah.
That would be great.
I want to do that right now.
That would be...
There's a small caveat though. You can't just hit small tiny creatures that have less than
5.
5 health points. They got to be more than 5.
Right.
So yeah.
So you're
At
not-
least
yeah.
5.
So that's life drain, right?
It is life drain.
Life drain.
Draining the life
Draining
from
the
us.
life from people, things and stuff.
That's great, though. I mean, you could heal
it's-
without being a cleric. And if
Yeah.
you're in the middle of a fight, you're healing the whole time. If you're barbarians dropping people left and right, you're still healing. I would spend a reaction point on that anytime.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. I like
So
this.
you're all about kind of, yeah.
I like this.
Sacrifice and then using your health or your blood for a resource. And then like every other class, you get a talent
Tell me
at
you
second
get a
level. It's like a feat. We'll talk all about that in a different video.
Right.
But
Might be a whole series in itself. This class is badass.
I feel like I I was going to jump into the pool, and I thought it was 3 feet, but it ended up being like 30 feet, and now I'm drowning because there's so much to this
There's
class.
so much of this class.
That was a lot.
What's our end of this?
That was a lot.
Yeah, how do we
There's a
round this
lot
out?
in this Warlock class. Down below, the link to the PDF, as always, because you want to get this, you want to start playing it, go ahead and do it. I believe you can get the 07 rules for free,
Oh.
but then you don't know what the changes are.
Then you're one away. You need more.
And if you buy the PDF, you're going to get all subsequent versions for free after that. But I would say just get the PDF and start playing this. Start trying it out. It's great. Yeah. So much better than D&D. Yeah, we appreciate you guys a lot already helping us out. We're brand new. And so people have been showing up, and it does mean a lot. I know you hear that from new channel people all the time, but it means a lot. So thank you.
We reply to every comment.
For now.
Read every single
Till we
thing.
get huge, and then we won't have time for all that.
Yeah, but then you can just come over and
we'll have a Discord soon. We'll have a Patreon.
Yeah,
we're starting our actual play. So we're going to have that up once it's ready. We don't want to just shove it out there before it's ready because that...
It needs to be brilliant.
Brilliant. Like, Brandon, bye.